Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you 4 of the most useful blending modes in Photoshop. Now these are obviously not all of the blending modes, but these are the ones that you might use more often than the others. And these are going to be very easy ways to demonstrate what they can do to your photos. So let's go and hop in here. So the first one we're going to talk about is the multiply blending mode. For the easiest way to understand what the multiply blending mode does is it will kind of remove white or very, very off-white colors from an image. So for example, we have this motorcycle image, and what we want to do is create kind of a grungy effect to it. And so we have this texture right here. Now I want to overlay this texture, but I want to keep all of the black elements of the photo and the grays, but I want to get rid of most of the lighter, whiter colors. And so what I'm going to do is just click on the image. I'm going to go to my blending mode here and go down to multiply. And as you can see, right as we do that, all the white is taken away, and now it keeps most of the black and gray tones. Kind of gives like a grungy vignette around the photo. Kind of makes a cool little image. And what makes this effect even better when you're doing these blending modes, you still have the capability of coming in here if you wanted to and creating a layer mask here, getting a black brush. And if you see parts of some of this texture that you don't want, you can actually go in here, like right on the rearview mirror here, side mirror. I can paint that away. And you have all these effects where you can just paint everything away if you wanted it to. But that's a really simple way of using the multiply. So the multiply will basically take away the lighter elements of the image. So that is the multiply one. Let's go to the screen example. So screen is basically going to do the opposite of multiply. So we have this kind of real estate image, and we want to add a fire to this this little fire pit here. So again, we have this fire pit fire here, and you can see we have a bunch of black around the image. What we're going to do is click on the image. We're going to scale it down just a tad to kind of make it fit in there. Maybe lower the opacity so we can kind of see where it's going. So maybe right there, that looks good. And we'll take the opacity all the way back up to 100. And now we'll go to our blending mode section here again, and we'll go down to screen. And you can see what it does is it takes away all the black, but leaves a lot of the lighter colors. So now again, we can take a layer mask. We can get our black brush here, and we can just kind of zoom in and start painting away the fire from the edge here. And I'm just going to do a down and dirty job just so you can see what I'm talking about. But this will kind of create that effect of it being actually in the fire pit and not overlapping. Just painting that away. Toggle off, toggle on, see if I missed anything. Little spots right there, and there we go. Now we added a fire to it, and then we can go in there and, make a curves layer to kind of blend it in a little bit more, but that saves a lot of time from trying to select a lot of the black of the image and then delete it or create a layer mask. Just use a blending mode, and it adds it to it right there, and it actually kind of makes it a really cool effect. You can see the transparency, maybe looking through the fire a little bit. You can still see behind it. Really, really awesome, useful blending mode. Okay, so now let's check out the other blending mode here. This one we have here, this is going to be overlay, the overlay blending mode. And what I would typically use the overlay blending mode for is actually dodging and burning. So if you're not familiar with what dodging and burning is, it's basically lightening or darkening pieces of the image selectively. So burning is actually darkening the image. Dodging is actually kind of lightening parts of the image. So what I'm going to do is go over here. I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'm going to get a brush and make sure my foreground color, we're going to choose black here for the foreground color. So we're going to burn parts of the image. And we're going to set our blending mode to overlay. And I'm just going to paint one real quick stroke over here on the background here. And you can see it really darkens it up. You still see a little bit of the image back there. It kind of blends in like it's what it is, a blending mode, but it still darkens the image up. And so I can actually go over here and take the opacity and lower that down just to kind of darken that piece. So what I'm actually doing is kind of highlighting the model, darkening the background a little bit more. See, I can light it up, I can darken it again, just kind of bring her out. That's an easy way of doing that. If we wanted to do a dodge to the same layer, what we can do is switch our foreground color to white. And we can go in here and start lightening parts of her hair, and I'm just tapping around here. Obviously, this is a really harsh effect, but I'm going to show you here in just a second what you can do to kind of help it a little bit more. So that's a quick example of it. What my normal process for dodging and burning is this similar process. I'm going to delete this, create another new layer, go to overlay, and I'm going to go take my my opacity and my flow of my brush. I'm going to back those down a hair so that they blend in a little bit more. And now with overlay and with a low opacity, low flow brush, I can go in here and kind of do that same thing. And it's a much less harsh effect, and I can kind of have more control over it. So I'm just doing a bunch of different clicks, no major strokes all the way around the image. And again, I can change my foreground color to white to do a dodge here and kind of lighten up here. There we go, just lightening parts of the image selectively, not doing a global adjustment at all. So let's say I'm cool with that. I'm really happy the way that looks. So now you can see the before and after. Toggle that off and toggle it back on. That's the dodging and burning. If you're thinking a little bit harsh, if you're thinking the effects are a little bit harsh, you got kind of two options here. Again, back down the opacity, or you can actually go over to another blending mode. This is kind of a side piece to the blending mode. This is the overlay one, but we're going to go down to soft light. Soft light is a little bit like the overlay, but it's a little bit kind of a softer effect. So you still get the dodging and burning, but it's a little bit lighter on the touches there. So that's technically 5 that I'm covering, but the overlay is the main one that you might use. Okay, so the last blending mode is going to be the color blending mode. This one is actually one of my favorites if I want to add some colors to the image and have them blend in really, really nice. So what I'm going to do here is kind of show you a really cool example of it. This is a black and white image. There is no color to this image at all, so I'm actually going to add color to it, and it's still going to look pretty realistic without just painting a brush in and just kind of feathering the brush with a little bit of opacity. I'm actually going to use the blending mode. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to create a brand new layer, and I'm going to change my blending mode to color. And now I'm going to go get a nice, cool, funky color here. So I'm going to go get, let's go get a red. And I'm going to paint this door, the outer edge of this door, red. So what I'm going to do is just real quickly get a marquee, drag this over. Technically, I don't need a marquee for this, but I like to have it just in case. So what I'll do is get my brush, and I will start painting over. You can see we have a little bit of a low opacity from our previous example, so I'll delete that, make my opacity 100, flow 100, and now I paint this in, and now it's just kind of adding that color to that door, and it's blending in very, very nicely. You still see the edges of the door, and it looks pretty realistic. So I'm going to delete that marquee selection here. I'm going to go get another marquee and just get this inner edge right here. And here, just for a quick example, I will just go ahead and erase that. Just like so. And obviously, if I was really doing this for sure, I would go in here and erase out this door piece right here. But, you know, this is just a quick example, so you can kind of see what's going on. So that's an easy way of kind of adding color to a door or a black and white image for that matter. You can take that down as well, kind of blend it in a little bit more. And you can kind of keep going and making all these doors funky colors just to kind of blend them in. But that's a really easy way of using color to add actual colors to something that might not have a color. Like if you have somebody's, I don't know, khaki pants and you want them to be a little bit darker of a color than a lighter khaki, you can actually paint in and it'll blend in very, very easily. So those are 4, technically 5 blending modes in Photoshop that are very useful. Use them all the time, especially the overlays for dodging and burning. That's a very, very popular one to use. So if you have any more suggestions for videos for the channel, go ahead and leave them in the comment down below. This has been Jordan from Sleeklens, and I'll see you in the next one.